bro, soul cracks, bro. Razor. East, that's east to west. That's like east to west. Um, so like Beaverton has a lot of pretty girls. Oh, he says what? Dan Elliott's from Washington. What city are you from in Washington? Um, but yeah. So the thing about Gresham girls is, in fact, they actually look different than Beaverton girls, right? Like it's interesting, that girls from one state inside of one metropolitan area can look so different. But like Gresham girls look different than Beaverton girls, man. Beaverton has fine girls, but Gresham girls they're like, they look more like, they look like they're from the city, so to speak. Like they're like city. They're like, they wear more makeup. They wear hoop earrings. They got more ass. Um, it's they look like they're from the concrete jungle. And it's a suburb. That's what's funny. Gresham is a suburb, but like they look like they're from the concrete jungle. It's just like, and they talk like it too. Like it's, yeah, it's like a different. It's almost like they're from a different state, but like they're just from the other side of the city. It's interesting, bro. Demographics are really interesting, man. Um, but yeah, Gresham has girls. Oregon has girls as a state, as a whole state, and then Beaverton girls are like, they'd be like with the like classically, like they're like classically fine, right? They look like girls from movies. That's the way girls in Beaverton look, the fine ones at least. So. Uh, so let's see here. Good ass question, Dan Elliott. Yeah, Washington here too. Okay, so we got Dan Elliott from Washington here too. Says, you ever see Bigfoot? Some people say they've seen Bigfoot in Oregon. Who knows? Who knows, man? My dad has seen a UFO, so if people say they've seen Bigfoot, it's believable. So yeah, here too. That's a real thing. People say they've seen it. Razor. Okay, now Razor, what city are you? First of all, Razor, what city are you in now? And second of all, we're gonna read the question. So we just got done with here too says Bigfoot, right? That people say they've seen it in Oregon. Hey, and then Razor, he says, how accurate is Portlandia? And so, first of all, what city are you in? And second of all, guys, it's hard to ask me a question like that because to me, Americans are so similar as a whole. You know, they act like a lot of them act the same. A lot of Americans, so it's hard to differentiate um, like little subsets of Americans. But furthermore, like in Portland, when people when people see me, they go offline, and so if even if they are like a character from Portlandia, they're too busy praying to be human around me. Um, and you can chalk that up to whatever you want to, but certain people when they walk into restaurants, everything stops. Certain people when they walk into grocery stores, the whole demeanor, it's like a record, like it's like a record scratch, like, and so that's the way it is in Oregon for me. You got a bunch of scared people. You got a bunch of sadistic fucks walking around as though it's normal. It's a, and now here's the thing. Out of state people, they like Oregon. But if you're from Oregon, you're like, bro, this is the most insidious existence ever. And it's hell. You're in a nightmare. And so for someone to act as though they were from Portlandia, they would have to be somewhat positive. They would have to be somewhat functional. But when people from Oregon, in the city, we're talking the city of Portland, when they see me, they cease existence. They go out. They go. Their brain stops working. They are completely offline, and they cease being human. They become a vessel. And now we're speaking in general terms. Obviously, the high functioning Americans, they're fine around me, right? High functioning Americans operate however they're going to operate, and but when you talk about a large groups of people, and again, Razor, we're talking about your question, how accurate is Portlandia? It's hard to ask me that question, because like my presence inside of a group of Americans is so devastating, and people's feelings are actually being hurt by the fact that they have to be around me. They have to see me. They begin to smolder with inferiority. And it creates a ridiculous environment, like when you're surrounded by inferiority. So to me, Americans, there's so many clowns. There's such a high proportion of there's such a high proportion of average that it's hard to classify Americans into subsets, because they all act American, or such a large percentage of them act American. And it's been great for our ego, it's been great for our website, but our day-to-day is hideous. Going into the American public is a ridiculous experience. When you got horny adults around you at almost every turn, fully aroused adults. And so again, it makes for a good website. It's allowed us to meet people from all over the country and planet on the internet. It's allowed us to sell soundtracks and mixtapes, which is one of the funnest things ever, as well as distribute curricula for American males. That's all positive, right? So there's a two ends to a seesaw, right? It's good and like you take the good with the bad. But again, to reference this question, how accurate is Portlandia? You would have to ask an average grade American that's in Portland. You'd have to they'd have to be average grade in order to see other average grade Americans function. Because when you put a superior and completely elite American inside a group of clowns or just regular functioning people, it disrupts the rhythm, the biorhythm, and so unless you find me around my college buddies or other high functioning American males or Americans in general, fine ass girls, like that's why we go to strip clubs, right? There's so many fine girls, right? It's high functioning, right? And so, and for that matter, people at Gjohnceusa.com, you got high functioning people here at Gjohnceusa.com, right? That's part of the reason we have a community, right? Internationally speaking, and that's why it is spread so thin internationally, because it is high functioning, very capable dudes, and then fine ass girls, obviously. So that is a long ass answer. But for us to answer how accurate is Portlandia, bro, Americans are like that. Like if you look at any movie, any production, and then compare it to Americans, you're gonna find some overlap. Um, and it's, for better or worse, for better or for worse. So, um, but thank you for asking, man. That's a good one. How accurate is Portlandia? So if you ask an out-of-state person, or if you ask or maybe like an average grade human, like that's just in Portland, like that can be like a fish to water, uh, into the American public, then they could answer that. But otherwise, it's like people pray to me. So Americans specifically, Americans pray uh, when they see me. So Portlandia would be secondary, right? So great question. Thank you for that. Razor. Here too says, damn. Wait. Razor? Yeah, Razor. Here too says, damn, what'd he say about the UFO, the aliens? That's funny. Here too. Bro, that's funny. That's funny, bro. Suburbs. Okay, Razor. Suburbs of Chicago, right? We've been to Chicago.